Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, your host and attorney and founder at Meldon Law, and we're going to have a great time today. We've got some terrific guests from Meridian Healthcare that are going to talk about all the wonderful things that they do for our community and how we can help, and also how to utilize their wonderful resources. Couple things I want to talk about is, number one, there is an insurance crisis in the state of Florida, and as a result, rates are going up. Many people are cutting back on valuable insurance coverage, particularly for your car, truck, or other vehicle, as well as homeowners insurance. And I want to let people know that I have come up with a way to get the most coverage for the lowest rate. It's a three-step process. Number one, I wrote a consumer guide called Buying Florida Auto Insurance. And the book is very short, easy to read, 10, 15 minutes. You can get all the information you need so that you know what the different terms mean on your auto truck policy. A lot of times people will come up to me, what does this mean? What's collision? What is comprehensive? That's a common one. So collision protects the vehicle you're in, and comprehensive protects everything else. So if your glasses are destroyed in a crash, your computer, if there's any valuables inside the vehicle when it's in a crash that are wrecked or destroyed, your comprehensive would take care of that. A lot of other things come up, but those are some of the most common terms that you should become familiar with. So you have collision protects the car, and comprehensive protects the items inside your vehicle. Probably the most important thing is to make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage, because at this particular time, people are cutting back on their coverage without realizing that it can have a devastating effect if they're in a crash, and you need to protect yourself, your spouse, your family members. Uninsured motorist coverage protects you and everybody that lives with you if they're related, not only in your car, but in somebody else's vehicle. It also protects you if you're a pedestrian and you're hit. It protects you if you're on a bicycle and you're hit. So there's a lot of protection that's provided with uninsured motorist coverage, and you need to understand that. Another common mistake that people make is not buying what's called gap insurance. Say you paid $50,000 for your vehicle, you drive it out of the dealership, and now it's worth $45,000. Say it goes down about 10% just driving it out of the dealer. So, and some people wind up rolling over prior loans to the point where they owe more than what the car's worth. That can leave you in a situation where you're an innocent victim. The other person smashes your car up, totals your car, and you got to get a new car. But wait a minute, you owe more on the car than what it's worth. That's a problem, because you're an innocent victim. However, if you owe more on your car than what it's worth, that's not the other person's fault, at least under the law. So you need gap insurance, and that covers the gap between what you owe and what the car is worth. So uninsured motorist coverage and gap insurance are critical. Once you understand a few of the basic terms, then I recommend you go to your local insurance agent, somebody that's been in business for a long time. There's lots of really good companies with terrific folks that will review what my recommendations are in the book. They're all on one page. It's very easy. And a lot of insurance agents want my book to give to their customers so that they can really understand what insurance is all about. You go to your insurance agent and they'll help tell you what you need based on what you own, what your assets are. There's lots of different considerations. And then once you find out what you need, then they'll give you a price based on what insurance companies they work with. Some are dedicated to just one company. Others are what they call multi-line companies, where there's multiple insurance companies they work with, and they will try to find you the coverage you need at a rate that you can afford. If that doesn't work, the third step is go out and price it with a number of different companies to see who will give you the best rate for what you can afford. 1, 2, 3. That's how it works. I do it. I encourage everybody else that I talk to do it. And if you want a copy of our book, it's free. You can go to our website, meldonlaw.com. You can download a PDF version of the book, Buying Florida Auto Insurance, right at the top of the homepage on our website. Or if you want a hard copy, you can also just call the office, 352-373-8000, and say, I heard Jeffrey talking about his insurance book on the podcast, and I'd like to get a free copy of it, and we'll send it to you. So please take advantage of it. There's nothing more heartbreaking when a family's lives are turned upside down through no fault of their own because someone else was careless, and then they find out the other person doesn't have adequate insurance, which is the norm in Florida because we're the only state that doesn't require mandatory liability coverage. It's crazy, but that's where we're at in Florida. That's why in Florida, everyone needs uninsured motorist coverage. We're the only state where there's not some kind of liability or uninsured motorist coverage. So please do what you can to protect you and your family in the event of a crash. What we do at Meldon Law is help people put their lives back together after a serious crash and injury. So anytime you need help, give us a call. There's no fee to start the case. Our fee always comes in after we settle the case, or in some cases take it to trial and get a verdict. So please remember, Meldon Law has been here since 1971, and we are here to help you. And that's all I have to say about that. A couple other things in the community. The Florida-Georgia experience, you can go on our Facebook page or Instagram page, Meldon Law, and check it out. You get 2 VIP tickets to the Florida-Georgia game in Jacksonville. And for those of you that have never been there, the party is amazing. The Gators may get stomped again this year, but who knows? Miracles happen. We might pull it out. But more importantly, you're going to have a good time because you're going to come in on Friday and go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. And then we're going to put you up at a really nice hotel right on the river across from the stadium, the Doubletree. And you're going to also get tickets to the special VIP Fan Fest program that the Gators put on. So I want you to check it out. It's going to be fun. All you have to do, again, is go to Facebook or Instagram and look for Meldon Law, and you can also get not only the tickets and the hotel and the hospitality and the dinner at Ruth Chris, but a Meldon Law duffel bag filled with all kind of swag, plus a football signed by Billy Napier. And I know some people are a little bit down on Napier because his team hasn't been winning. However, we did win last week, and hopefully we'll keep the winning tradition going. Couple other things. Oh, we have Latina Women's Festival from today all the way through the 29th of September. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to get involved, all you have to do is go to Latina Film Festival, Gainesville, Florida. They've had it for 20 years, and they do a great job. The Latina Women's League puts all this together. Also, the Gateway City Craft Beer and Wine Festival scheduled for September 28th. I understand is to be rescheduled in October because there's a hurricane threatening to come through North Florida. So be aware of that. Fan Fest, UF versus University of Central Florida, October 5th at 6 p.m. So here's what I know. The UCF game against the Gators has been scheduled for 7:45 p.m. It's on October 5th. And 2.5 hours before the game, we're going to be outside the O-Dome handing out Gator swag at the Meldon Law tent. So come on down, spin to win, and win some great Gator gear supporting the team. North Florida Rocktoberfest is coming up October 12th out at the Homestead Park. We have a great time at Homestead Park in Williston. This is a rock party, October 12th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's free. The Battle of the Bands is going to be going on, arts and crafts, delicious food, and a selection of brew. A couple other things that I know are going on right now. We have a top-notch volleyball team, and we're giving away tickets. Go to Meldon Law Facebook page if you want tickets for volleyball. Basketball is coming up. And, of course, football tickets are also being given away every week. Go to our Instagram page or Facebook page. So that's a little bit about what's going on in the community, and let's support our Gators through all kinds of weather. We all stick together, and that phrase could not be more true right now. We're going to be back in just a few minutes on Meldon Law and Friends.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're gonna need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Somebody else hit us here.
Here we go again.
After the car accident, your personal life takes a toll when you have major injuries. Being a mother of 3 kids, having to work, it became overwhelming. Didn't know what was going to be my outcome, but Meldon Law actually, they went above and beyond.
At Meldon Law, we're not just your legal team, we're your support system. You do not have to go through this alone. At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm your guest host, Jeffrey Meldon, and I want to welcome you to a very special edition of our show. We have with us Dr. Joni Perkins from Meridian Healthcare, as well as Kandra Albury. Good afternoon and welcome to the show, ladies.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having us.
Well, there's some really exciting news going on at Meridian, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Meridian Behavioral Health Care has been around Gainesville for at least 50 years that I know, maybe longer.
That's right.
Sid Martin was instrumental in helping get it founded, and Sid was a good friend of mine and an inspiration to many of us around Alachua County and the surrounding counties. I also want to thank you for joining us today, because I understand there's some exciting news about Meridian. But let's first start and have Dr. Perkins tell us a little bit about what is Meridian, what you do, and what are some of the changes going on.
Yeah, for sure. And you alluded to it a little bit, but we're going through a very transitional phase in the life of Meridian. Not only are we Meridian Healthcare, which is a new name to many, but we are really transitioning into a place of providing and promoting holistic healthcare for the people in our community. One life at a time, one community at a time. And that's really the approach that we are taking now as an organization.
Yeah, I know, a lot of times things in people's lives just get out of control. They feel like they're overwhelmed. They have no way out. Can you talk a little bit about the services that Meridian offers to the community as far as crisis intervention and helping people who have serious alcohol or drug problems?
Absolutely. So, of course, Meridian, like you said, we've been in the community 50 plus years. We've been doing it a long time. And we offer an array of services for those who are in crisis. Individuals who are struggling with mental health as well as substance use disorders. And so we have from primary care clinics to a pharmacy to our residential programs. We have, of course, our MIST, which is our Mom's Intensive Support Treatment Program. And then over at the Sid Martin Bridge House, we have another residential program, which is, for those who are just in need of intensive treatment. And so that is extremely supportive for those individuals. It includes therapy and counseling and group counseling counseling, and of course medication management to help support them through their recovery journey. We also have some outreach programs as well. We have our mental health first aid, where we actually offer the classes in the community, bring them out to nonprofits as well as to corporations, and they can learn how to help individuals and support individuals who may be in crisis. That class is typically $250, but we offer it at no cost. The only caveat is you got to have at least 5 people. And so we have our mobile response team as well, where we can go out to individuals who are in crisis within 60 minutes. We have that pretty much in all of our coverage areas, except for in Gainesville, Palatka, and Ocala, and we are in 13 counties. And so we really, just like Joni said, offer a holistic approach to treatment and recovery for our clients.
So if things are spinning out of control in a family, they should just give you a call, and then you'll figure out what resources would best fit their needs, right?
Absolutely. We can support individuals before, during, and following a crisis. They can always call our crisis line, which is our main number, which is 352-374-5600, option 1.
Okay, so that's how you can get a hold of Meridian. However, there's some other initiatives and other programs that have been going on for a while, and we have them available for the community. And it's not just Alachua County. How many different counties are we in,
13
Joni?
counties. We're in 13 counties.
13 counties, so that's most of north central Florida, right?
That's
What are the biggest counties?
Our largest counties, of course, would be here in Gainesville, our largest, and our second largest campus, of course, is in Lake City. So our newest campus is in Palatka and, of course, Marion County, which is Ocala.
Right. So everybody who's we call it North Central Florida, right?
Absolutely.
You know, we're north and we're central. We're not on the coast, you know. But you also serve like Levy County, and Gilchrist County, and Dixie County. Those are coastal counties, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
So for those of you that live in north central Florida, this is a terrific resource. For many, many years, when I was doing a lot of DUI cases, we would be able to send our clients who had serious problems that led to a DUI arrest out to Meridian. And sometimes some of them had insurance, some of them didn't have insurance. But one of the wonderful things is you can service both people with or without insurance, right?
That is correct. We can service individuals who actually have some of the major insurance coverages, whether it's Blue Cross Blue Shield. We service individuals who don't have insurance at all and work on a sliding scale, as well as insurance that's subsidized, whether it's Medicaid or Medicare. And we also treat children and adults.
Well, that's amazing. So, Joni, what are some of the other things that go on there that aren't involved with a crisis?
Right, and Kandra mentioned a few of them earlier. We have over 40 different programs at our organization, and while we do work in crisis intervention, we're more than just a crisis center. We are a community, and we're a community resource, and we try to provide that holistic care to everyone that we cross paths with, whether that's before, during, or after crisis.
So, what's an example of some of the programs that are not crisis-oriented, that are proactive?
So we have our SSVF, which is our support services for veteran families. And that means anyone who's a veteran can actually come to us, and we can actually go, and help them with their rent as well as utilities to keep them from facing homelessness. Other programs is some of our outreach programs, such as our CMHC, that's community-based, going out in the community, supporting those individuals who are actually facing homelessness and providing support programs for them as well.
Now, I know for the veterans, I was out on the east side of Gainesville several years ago, and there was a very nice lady out there who does some amazing work. You know who I'm talking about?
That may have been Tanaka Gates. And Tanaka has been our director going on 13 years over our support services for veteran programs. And she has an amazing team that support our veterans.
I know, for any veterans, that are in the community, particularly, the Alachua County community. I know if you have some problems, there's help out there.
Absolutely. And we service our veterans in all of our coverage areas. So it's not just our Gainesville. We literally can reach the full coverage area and offer them the support they need.
Yeah. And so I would say that of all the programs I've seen, the veterans programs are some of the best in the state of Florida. Take advantage of them. It's a really... it's there. We have great people at Meridian that if they don't do what you need, they know who does what you need, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's another good message, I think, for people. It's like, who do I call? Who's the right person? Whatever. Meridian also serves to help you figure out what direction to go and what resources are available. Talk about that and how you can help.
And also, you don't have to wait. Because mental health care is health care. We should all be focusing and centering our mental health into our natural health care regimes. And because of that, and because of the different programs that Meridian offers, we're able to prioritize staying ahead, not waiting until you're into a moment of crisis. By taking care of yourself and taking care of your mental health, you can avoid those moments of crisis.
Yeah, I think that's a really good message. When things start getting a little out of control at home, Meridian is a really good resource. Sometimes you just need a counselor to sit down and talk to you about different strategies.
And some of those actually include having a plan, whether that's burnout or just making sure your therapist is just as important as having your best friend's number, just as important, or maybe, having your priest or your pastor's number. Having a therapist or a counselor is equally as important. And so having that burnout prevention plan, knowing what it is that, you need to be doing before you hit the point of burnout. And that's, where we can support individuals through, planning ahead.
You make a good point there, Kandra, because sometimes a counselor can be more kind of neutral in their evaluation of the circumstance. And if your friend tells you, you're doing something that may not be in the right direction, sometimes you take it personally.
Absolutely. That is true.
Whereas when a professional sits down and says, let's think through this, let's talk about this and that, and what are some options, because usually where there's dysfunction in the family, it's not just one person.
That's right. It impacts the whole family structure.
Yeah.
So if you ever find an adult in crisis, you best believe those children, if they're in the household, they're going to actually feel that crisis as well. And so you want to make sure that when you're in therapy, that you're normalizing it. I think as a society, we have to normalize getting help. And I think with the pandemic, we are now able to lean in more and say, I'm just not well, and being okay with that. And that has to start at home and in our workplaces, as well as spread throughout our communities, normalizing getting the help we need.
Yeah, I know the pandemic threw a loop for, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, because there was a lot of benefits that were provided by the government, it resulted in an increase in prices. So all of a sudden, I go to the Publix up on North Main Street, right? And eggs used to be like $3.50 for a dozen, and then all of a sudden they were like $5.50 or $6.50 a dozen. And I don't really. I'm blessed that I'm not, challenged as far as being able to buy some eggs. But if you're supporting a family and you're on limited income, when the prices at the grocery store go up 20% or more in some cases, it throws people for a loop. And then, other things happen where they need help.
That's true. That's true. And and Joni probably will speak to this. I feel that's why it's so important to know the resources. She said earlier, Meridian is more than a crisis center. We're a community and a community resource. Our partnerships are so important, and knowing what resources we have in our community is equally important. I mean, we have Bread of the Almighty. We have food banks. I learned that, we have a food bank here that distribute like 15 times a week. And a lot of times it's just partnering and knowing who our neighbors and our partners are in the work that we do that can bring even more value to our communities and to the citizens.
Now, I understand you're going through a name change. So let's talk about that a little bit and the reason behind it.
Yeah. Yep. So we are Meridian Healthcare, and really focusing on that holistic meaning of healthcare. You talked earlier a little bit about how when you need help and when you need to know where you need to go, oftentimes you don't know exactly where to go or who to lean on. And we really want to instill in our community that Meridian is that resource, or we can provide those resources to whoever is in need. And that's really the root of it, is to break down the stigma of mental health in our community and really let people know that this isn't something that we have to be afraid of. This is something we have to be ashamed of. This is something that we can prepare ourselves for through holistic healthcare. And that is what we provide as an agency. And through this rebranding process, we now reflect that, being a community and being a community resource.
So what we're trying to do is get rid of whatever stigma people think about mental health, right? I mean, it's like the word, mental health, right, is being healthy. But when you start talking about a mental health or a crisis center, people go, the wheels haven't fallen off the bus just yet, but I've got a couple flat tires here, and things aren't going good. So we're going to think of Meridian Healthcare as a place to find ways to grow your family and your friends and help yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Not necessarily when you're in crisis.
Right.
So let's talk about some examples of different programs where somebody, who's not in crisis would reach out to Meridian.
Right. So we treat the full spectrum. So whether someone is having difficulties with just navigating what they're feeling. So this can be just having anxious thoughts, anxiety, depression. Sometimes people don't know how long they really have been depressed and how long they should be depressed or what that really looks like. So we treat the full spectrum. And so we offer those support services starting with children 3 years old, whatever, they may be facing. And then we treat also those adults who, on the spectrum of whatever that disability looks like. So it could literally be, maybe suicidal ideation, but it could also be anxious thoughts and anxiety. And so with the treatments that we offer that support so they can better navigate those emotions, things that they're feeling. And one of our most exciting initiatives that we're preparing to roll out, we're actually rolling it out right now, is Text for Help, which is for middle and high school students in our full coverage area. They'll be able to text someone, maybe when they're not having a good day, whatever that good day may not look like. And so we all have those.
So in other words, if they're frustrated, they don't know who to go to.
Yes.
They can text somebody.
That's right.
And how would that work? Would you have different people responding, or would you have one dedicated person?
We have a team of clinicians that are dedicated to answering 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they will be available to text with them. So that also shows that we meet people where they are, because we know that middle and high school students are where they're on their phones. And so that platform in itself is another way of just reaching folks right where they are.
Yeah, I think everybody is on their phones now. I'm an older guy, right? And I'm on my phone. My wife goes to me, Jeffrey, put your damn phone down. and I'm like, very much into people reading and growing and doing things like that, rather than getting all of your information from TikTok.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. Yes. Or Google.
Or Google. Yeah. I mean, look, you can get good information. However, when it comes to personal advice. The worst thing you can do is to lean on somebody else who may be a friend or family member who's not really skilled or prepared to lead you through the forest, so to speak, into a better place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also as an agency, we want to continue to equip the people in our community with the right resources on how to intervene. And so Kandra mentioned earlier our mental health first aid, which is a program that we offer to businesses, we offer to agencies to be able to come in and provide that training free of charge. Usually that training is $250, but we will provide that service to you all to become certified in mental health first aid, so that you are equipped to respond. You are equipped to, when you see changes in your family member, when you see changes in your friend, when you see changes in your coworker or your classmate, you are equipped to respond, and you know where the resources are.
So those kinds of programs then are proactive.
Correct.
You're reaching out to the community in an effort to give the resources. These are to like ordinary family members, a father or a mother who's having problems with their kid. Is that something they could call in and talk to you about?
Absolutely. They can definitely call in. They can call our crisis line, and you know, there's always someone in our access center that will get them to the right person, help them get into our system of care, schedule that first appointment. And we also offer telehealth, so they don't even have to come in for, you know, to see a clinician or to begin their process. So that's another win that we have.
You know, in personal injury cases, what we specialize in, telehealth is all of a sudden, particularly after COVID, right? Oh, well, that's acceptable now, right?
Oh, yeah.
We, you know, 7-8 years ago, we were doing telehealth, and everybody said, "Oh, you know, that's just some, you know, gimmick, right?" And then all of a sudden, everybody was on Zoom, and everybody was, you know, communicating in different ways, and people started working remote, and all of a sudden, it was like, "Oh, well, telehealth sounds like a good idea." So sometimes, out of bad things like the pandemic, good things emerge. And when you think about it, isn't it a lot easier to be able to communicate on a, you know, with a scheduled, you know, for the doctor and for the patient? Okay, you know, in the legal profession now, we have hearings, you know, on Zoom. And what that means is, instead of sitting there in a courtroom for 2 hours, wasting your time and, you know, your client's time, waiting to be called by the judge, you could be in your office working you know, creating a lot of, you know, productivity. And when the judge is ready for you, they flip on and the judge is ready for you. And you're in a good mood because you were able to get some really good cases settled, or do something for your clients and help move your clients forward. So I am a huge fan of real life communication. I'm very concerned about people becoming you know, detached. Because of cell phones and other things. Like, you know, if you go into a group of teenagers now, if they're sitting around in a group, you know, every one of them sitting there on their cell phone, there's hardly any conversation going on. And I guess, I don't know if that shows my age, but I still think that it's not healthy for. And then they're getting information, and then it's like, and it's funny because yesterday I saw something about, you know, the coaching staff at the University of Florida for football and all this, and then I went to a reliable source and I found out it was all BS. Right? Well, that's the same thing that's happening in our community. Okay, and somebody is going to say something nasty about somebody else, and then that's going to get on their Facebook page or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and then you can really kind of aggravate a situation. Do you have any suggestions, if you were a parent, how to deal with that?
Well, actually, I have a 14-year-old son, and we actually just created these boundaries and rules. You know, there's no cell phone at the dinner table. You know, you're off your cell phone at 7 o'clock each night. And when we are with family, we communicate with family. And so I believe that we're just going to have to just return to this space, although there's a place for being online and there's a time, but I think it's going to require a lot of self-discipline. And a lot of accountability. And if we want our society to be where we can check in with each other, if we're ever going to notice even someone in distress, we have to actually be able to connect with each other to be able to notice those changes. We don't want something to get past us. And oftentimes, unfortunately, you hear that when someone commits suicide, the first thing the loved one says, I don't know how it got past me. I never recognized the signs, which is why it's so important to have that mental health first aid, because when you take the course, you also learn your compassion statements. I've noticed X, Y, and Z about you. Is everything okay? How to use that eye contact, how to truly connect with them beyond just, hello, how are you doing? I'm fine, and moving forward. Because I feel we just such a programmed society. If you say I'm fine, everyone gets to move forward versus truly saying, how are you doing today? How are things going? You know, is there some way I can support you that's allowing us to fully put ourselves in and be held accountable for our neighbors?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a crisis myself, that young people, I mean, my daughter has my grandchildren, 3 of them within 5 years, right? You know, they go from 4 up to almost 9. And right, they're like all the other kids, right? And they want to watch TV. They want to, you know, be on the cell phone. They want to, you know, do all these things. And there's certain things. We were at my daughter and I have a birthdays close to each other, so we had a birthday celebration this week, right? And the kids, they started wanting to. I mean, these are 9 and 10-year-old boys, and they started putting on songs on my phone, right, that my daughter comes to me and said, listen to the lyrics of that song. You know, listening, they're 9 and 10-year-old kids, right? But they thought it was cool, and they knew these songs, and, you know, apparently, you know, they were not songs that were healthy and appropriate. And, you know, I mean, you know, that's not being an old fuddy-duddy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just gotta. I tell you, the generations are always different. And when I think about even my son, the reason he's on the phone is because he was born in a time where digital technology was literally taken off. And then I have a grandson where he has a tablet and he's 6 years old. So I get to, you know, these kids are going to be geniuses. They can solve anything. My son grew up during the pandemic. He was taking classes online at he's 14 now. That was 4 years ago. Like, think about it. These kids will be able to solve some major world problems, but to discipline them to understand that there's a time and place for learning to take place, it's going to be a challenge, and that's going to be up to the adults.
So, you know, kind of bringing it back to Meridian Health.
Absolutely.
Okay, that we have all these new tools which can either separate us or bring us together, depending on how they're utilized. So it's not the tool that's evil.
No.
It's the way in which it's being used.
Right.
And I think we know that strong family connections, support within the family, is critical for good health care.
Absolutely.
Right? So that when, you know, when there's a crisis, there's a shoulder to lean on. However, sometimes that shoulder's not there.
Yeah.
Right.
But Meridian is.
That's right.
So Meridian
That's right.
is where you need to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk again about different ways to contact Meridian.
Yes, and I know we just talked about, you know, social media and things like that and not being on our phones, but by following Meridian on our social media platforms, you'll be able to access a wealth of resources as well as great information, things to keep in mind with World Mental Health Day coming up on October 10th, and we'll be celebrating that as an agency. But also the theme of that day is mental health in the workplace. And so we'll be sharing a lot of great resources and things in our social media regarding that, regarding burnout, regarding compassion fatigue, and how to combat those things. So do follow us on our social media platforms, all social media platforms at MBHCI.
That's right.
Okay, so that's how you. What about a phone number? Let's give that out again.
Yeah, so our main number is 352-374-5600, and our website is mymeridianhealthcare.org.
My Meridian Healthcare. So, as we said, I had a chance to meet with Kandra on our radio show recently, and I said, if we Google Meridian Healthcare, I promise you it will come up, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So all you have to do is remember the name Meridian, okay, and that's a good start if you want to Google the name. Meridian Healthcare is the name because we're involved in trying to create healthy people within the community so they don't get into a crisis situation. However, if you're in a crisis situation, they're absolutely the best resource to start with. They will get you to where you need to go. There's dozens. UF Health has 22,000 employees. Okay, there's some really good resources in our community.
Absolutely.
Okay, no matter what the situation is, and it may even be something that you just don't know what to do.
That's true.
And so let's support Meridian Healthcare. Business people, listen up. They have training so that your human resources people, your office managers can bring in somebody to help if one of the team members is having a really tough time, navigating their life.
And we also offer our co-responder program where we have an actual counselor who rides along with law enforcement to de-escalate situations as well. So when you say we have a lot of resources, Gainesville is extremely blessed to have so many organizations that are here to support the safety and the well-being of our community.
Well, I want to thank both of you for joining us. I hope the message gets out about Meridian Healthcare being the number one resource to help you navigate the things we all navigate. I think one of the reasons that I'm hearing from you ladies is that you're changing the name because you want it to be more inclusive. It's not just a crisis center.
That's right.
Meridian is a place where members of the community that need a little bit of help in this direction or that direction can call, and they will get you where you need to be. So thank you very much again for joining us. We appreciate it, and I want to thank everybody who both watched and listened to this edition of Meldon Law and Friends, because Meridian Healthcare is definitely our friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much.